change his behavior, Mr. President?
What do you do over there? When did I say I was confident? Let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world.
He denied any involvement in cyber attacks. So how does that account to a constructive meeting as President Putin framed it?
I don't understand that.
Wow. President Biden snapping at a reporter following his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin as he once again only takes questions from that small group of hand-picked members of the press.
Fox News contributor and media opinion columnist for The Hill, Joe Concha, joins us to react. The floor is yours, Joe. What do you say to that exchange?
Well, I saw a press conference yesterday where Vladimir Putin, the guy who doesn't really like the press all that much, who actually has killed journalists in his country, there's no free press in Russia, he took questions for 55 minutes. Then you have Joe Biden, who took questions for half that amount of time. And then when he was taken off of teleprompter, off of the script that he was provided. In other words, he called on 7 reporters for half the time that Putin was up. Then there you saw Caitlin Collins, CNN, ask a very reasonable question, which is, how can you be so confident that Vladimir Putin's going to change his behavior? And then he becomes Grandpa Simpson, where he starts yelling at her, starts pointing his finger at a female journalist. I could only imagine, Pyro, if we saw, I don't know, Donald Trump do something like that. This would be a chilling attack on the press and democracy in general. In attacking a female journalist, it was misogynist, all that stuff. We don't really see much of that today. But yeah, Joe Biden lost the narrative yesterday when he did that, because that became the story, his actions in answering what, again, was a very reasonable question.
Yeah, Joe, and to take that point a step further, to me, this looked like that prototypical fake tough guy who gets emasculated by an actual tough guy and then takes it out on a woman. Thoughts?
That's the thing, right? I mean, we've seen this from Joe Biden before, by the way, where when he is taken out of his comfort zone, he becomes defensive, he becomes angry. And during that press conference, by the way, I don't understand why the leader of the free world, the guy who got 81 million votes, the most of any president in U.S. history, suddenly has to start, not suddenly, he's been doing it for a while, has to read from handwritten notes given to him, and he reads from them verbatim. Why can't he articulate his own argument on his own? And the fact, again, that, Peter Doocy is boxed out, why we're afraid of a rookie White House correspondent, I have no idea. Peter Doocy asked good, tough, solid questions. Maybe that's why, perhaps. But again, what we see here is a president who is shielded from the press. And by the way, this is why we know now he didn't do that joint press conference with Vladimir Putin, because Putin would have kept him out there. Right. Like a boxer at a heavyweight fight would have kept him up for an hour, 2 hours, and Putin would have had Biden answer questions from reporters that weren't handpicked for him. So therefore, that's why he avoided that particular scenario, because he couldn't control the narrative. And the one question he gets, he lost it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was a good question. OK, so let's get your reaction to this before we let you go. New Jersey school board that voted to remove holiday names from their calendar to hold they're supposed to hold a special meeting after all of this public outrage. And the Randolph Township School District statement is, quote, in partnership with the Randolph Township School District, the Board of Education has always been committed to supporting diversity and inclusion amongst our students, staff, and community. Involvement and communication with our constituents helps guide policy decisions, changes, and improve district protocols. Your reaction to this seemingly, possibly about-face?
Well, Randolph, New Jersey is not too far from me here in New Jersey, a great town. However, they talk about how they embrace diversity. What they don't embrace is the diversity of thought, that you have any thought outside of what is the right thought in that school district's mind. And we see it so many places across the country, guys, as far as what is right and wrong in terms of how to think. That's a big problem. And we've talked about on this network over the last 2 days how one woman, she escaped North Korea when she was a child. She goes to Columbia University, and she says, we're being told how to think in our education systems. When North Korea is seen as the more open and free education system, that's a problem.
Joe Concha, enjoy the rest of your 5th day of the week. I'm not going to actually refer to it by name. I don't want to get in trouble in Randolph. Joe, thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Appreciate it.